Why, hello there, shy barons and great Halyonians. Okay, maybe not. And Burundis alike. Shams Nelson here from Pen and Blade. And in this episode, I'm gonna be initiating myself into the most prestigious title of Pencil Knight. And this is the culmination of my 3 CHUBCHUB challenges. This is the final quest. The final of 3 quests to become a Pencil Knight. I've created this world, and these 3 portraits of people from the cybernation that's on Discord. And so we have Princess Blood. I don't know why I do with a French accent. Princess Blood, Captain Commandant, and Queen Annalay. And these are all prominent figures featured here on this world that I've built. All right, Captain Commandant, he commands this area in the southwest, and it is where all the free peoples or the assorted mercenary armies. We're going to get to each one individually. I'm going to talk about each one as I show you guys the time lapse actually of the creation of these. And Queen Annalay is the leader of the High Elves of Shybera, and Princess Blood is her daughter actually, but she leads the people of the desert people here where Betel Grundi and the Four Winds and Bo'u and stuff are. And then we have the Wood Elves up here in the north, and actually I'm going to go ahead and say we need a 4th person. So if you're part of the Cybernation, or if you comment first, I'm going to let you, but you're going to get to be the leader, but you have to describe the character who the leader of the Wood Elves are up here in Great Halyon. And if you do that, then and you're a member of the Cybernation, then you shall, and I'll probably make a portrait of you like these. So let's go ahead and start with Shybera, because that's the main place. Basically, the city of Shybera was created on a town, and you know what? Let's go ahead and watch a time lapse of this while I give the overview. And this video itself is a is basically the culmination of my 3rd quest. So I've gone to this region. I actually traveled there, and I explored these lands and mapped it out, and I'm here to share with you what I've discovered about the history of these lands. Oops, not this one, because I have to bring that into Photoshop. Here we go. All right, and there we go. So Shybera. So I wanted to, this is the great city, and you see the castled area on top. So basically the history of Shybera is that the city here is so distracting, all this stuff going so fast. This mountain is filled with powerful magical gems, all right? And it was discovered by these High Elves who were brought here actually they were warlocks, and they made a deal with a dark entity who would promise them power, but in return they would have to serve him, you know, in the spirit world or in the Feywild or whatever. And, you know, dark pact was made. And then they forged this city, and they enslaved basically the humans of this island and forced them to mine these things and live under poor conditions. And half-elves as well. This is going to be important later on, you'll see, because Captain Commandant is actually a half-elf. So half-elves were shunned almost even more than humans. They're called half-breeds, you know, and they're cast to the lowest rungs of society. All right, but we'll get to that. We'll get back to that. So I think we've seen the replay, so let's go back to the main map. Actually, let's go ahead. So Shybera is this big city over here, and they used to own almost all of this island, basically, but never really this forest area because they had no interest in it. And the Wood Elves are a break-off of the Shyberans, because once they got there, they started selling their services as mages, all right? This was like 1,000 years ago or something, like a while back. They started selling their services, making pacts with extraplanar entities, you know, all this dark stuff, casting curses and death spells. And even though later this would get, you know, kind of abolished in the legal system as it became more of a, you know, a well-established town. So let's go ahead and watch. So she is currently the leader of Shybera, and the island, the Shyber Island. If you get why it's called that, let me know. I'm curious if anybody gets that little pun or whatever you want to call it. Anyways, so she's the leader now, and actually she's kind of against, she doesn't sell magic or whatever herself, even though she's a gifted sorceress. You know, she's seen how it corrupts, and her daughter, Princess Blood, who would get to soon, kind of has this theory that magic, using of magic, corrupts the heart. You know, it makes people like callous and lose their love and their sympathy for other people and stuff like that. So she's against it, but her mother's like, well, you know, this is the way things have been for thousands or hundreds of years, and you know, even if I wanted to change it, how would I even implement that? The law is already changed and says it's illegal, but no one like actually upholds the law, you know, actually goes out and finds people who are dealing with this dark magic and stopping it. So it's basically like everyone knows it's pretty much legal. You just have to be a little bit shady about it, I guess. You know what I mean? So I guess I'll zoom in so you can see the details. Oh, why is it so pixelated? Is that just my screen resolution, or is that actually how pixelated it is? Anyways, I guess I won't zoom in. So that's a situation, and that's actually why Princess Blood left. So her father, Queen Anile's husband, the king, outlawed technically he was the first one to outlaw the selling of magic, I think, in general, or death magic maybe. I don't know, I haven't decided. But basically he messed with the laws that were he outlawed the use of death magic and curses, all right? And then he mysteriously disappeared, okay? So she's become the queen, and she's quite a powerful sorceress, so she doesn't like to use her powers because she kind of believes Princess Blood in that she thinks that it does probably corrupt, you know, is that to corrupt the heart or whatever like that. So but she hasn't like, she's not like wanting to take action and start like a civil war, basically, because that's what would happen. It would start a civil war between the black mages societies, you know, of Shibera, and the royal army or forces or whatever, those loyal to the crown and those against the use of the dark magic. Basically, Shibera otherwise would be a beautiful, happy, lovely city, but it's not because of the evils that go on. All right, so we've talked about Princess Blood for a little bit. And I just wanted to say, let's talk about the Wood Elves real quick up in here in the northeast. They basically are the ones who, when they saw that the Shiberans are becoming like merchant, what is it? Magic merchants? Mage merchants or something? Um, you know, they're the ones who said, you know, we're just going to go live in the forest and forget this. We're not going to live in a society or in this crazy city. And when they saw that how they were like oppressing humans and basically treating, you know, like becoming like this kind of dominant force, and the people who wanted to live freely moved out to the forest and found this tree. But they ended up falling into a similar trap because they started worshiping the spirit of a tree called Halyon. All right, and we're going to get to what these things are. So the Shiberans have their pact with some great evil entity. All right, I don't know, we got to give it a name or something. If someone in the comments wants to come up with the lore behind who the Shiberans, like the dark extra plane or lord of the Shiberans behind the scenes, you know, he's a real power, even though the throne's almost like a figurehead at this point, or just like the day-to-day actions, but the ones who's controlling the city are the dark mages, and they're led by this extraplanar force. But the Wood Elves here in the northwest, all right, they actually fell under at least less obviously malevolent spirit who's like lives in this tree, this giant tree that has like a whole city in it, and it's called Halion, I guess is the name of this spirit. All right, and so let's talk about Lori. Let's talk about Captain Command Tent. All right, and we'll leave Princess Blood as a placeholder, as a finale, or something like that. I guess we'll do that. So let's go to Captain Command Tent. All right. So Captain Command Tent. First off, his character is very like he was born half elf. I didn't really think about how his mother and father and all that stuff. But basically, he was like shunned from the city. You know, he was looked down upon by his peoples and all that stuff. And so he decided to leave, and he went and lived with the Wood Elves. Oh, and by the way, that thing on his hand is a wand gun, man. Shoots like what is it you shoot? Oh my gosh, you told me, Captain Command Tent. You told me in the I remember I asked you about that in the direct messages. Which kind of, what would you shoot out of your gun? Oh, a thunder wave, right? Thunder wave? Shockwave. I remember I had to look it up. Anyways, so so he left, and he's actually a very like gifted, talented mind, and just like a kind of a prodigy in all sorts of things. That's a leaf cloak. It has like I don't. Oh yeah, it lets him travel between trees. Any two trees that anyone who's worn the leaf cloak has been to, it remembers those trees, and he can travel instantly between them. So you can basically teleport between Great Halcon and the southwestern areas instantly. And basically, what happened is he went and he was accepted by the Wood Elves, and they, brought him up and didn't treat him like badly or anything. And actually, he ended up being better than the Wood Elves in a lot of stuff, like beating them in competitions. And he was a great architect, and so he made a lot of money and stuff like that, and was kind of like a celebrity in Great Halion. Of sorts, because of he was his half elf. He was like one of the only, if not the only half elf, had a lot of trouble with the hand, in the whole city, and he was also like upstaging other like full wood elves and stuff like that. So anyways, he so after like kind of like this gaining this celebrity status, he didn't know what he was going to do with his life, and he was invited to join like different cults, and or not cults, but like the druidic order, and I guess it's a cult, and the wizard order and stuff. And he's dabbled in magic a little bit. Those are but basically, anyway, at some point he was brought to see the shamans, and they said that you have a great mission, that you're going to disrupt the entire the island, and finally what's it called, Symar? Wait, whatever the name of the island is, and the rulers, they're gonna finally be uprooted, and the city will fall, and the people of the island will be free again. But and they said, when that day comes that you gather the army and come for the final strike, then the wood elves will come out of the forests and down from the trees, and we shall fight alongside you. All right. So they've got this pincer movement with the wood elves in the northeast, and the mercenary army. So basically, he left and went to the southwest. So the town of Port Freeman is basically where the people and humans who escape. If you get to Port Freeman, there was a long fought battle there, and they finally beat back the elves, because basically the high elves decided that they weren't going to have a port city. If anybody wanted to come for their services, they had to figure out their own way to get there, because having a port city meant that they would be susceptible to attacks by barbarians and such. I mean, by pirates and stuff like that, and people who had strong navies, and they didn't want to deal with building up a navy. So they just but of course, naturally, a town would arise there, and that was Laika down here, which is now Shanty. But so this whole area became a pirate's bay, because basically the pirates built up a town there, and where like there's a black market for, because the kind of people who are buying spells and stuff are usually gonna be black market types, all right, buying death spells and curses and powerful magic stones and stuff like that. So and Landlubber Island, just on an aside, Landlubber Island, there is a ship crashed there. You see a big old ship, and they built houses on it and stuff, and it's kind of like a little town, and they call it Landlubber Island because it's kind of like making fun of the idiot who crashed a ship there, calling him a landlubber. But it's also ironic because it's actually a pretty popular, thriving pirate city. You know what I'm saying? So so calling it Landlubber Isle is, yes. Did you have something to add, Matilda? She said she's no landlubber. All right, and so it's called Black Flag Bay, and what else? We've got so once they built this town, they were like, okay, well, this town's coming up anyway, so they tried to exercise control over it, but it basically turned into a little civil war, and the pirates were able to just kind of bombard it from the seas and stuff. Since they had no navy, they were just like, okay, you know what? All of the respectable high elves left that town of Laika and moved up north, a little further north, called a place called New Laika. All right, they just rebuilt the town and made it nice, and maybe there's probably a wall around it. Actually, should have drawn that in. And then the old town became pretty much abandoned, ghost town, but it's pretty much like another spot for black market activities and stuff like that, and a shady meeting spot. And it's just the pirates call it the shanty. All right, so we meet at the shanty. Port Freeman is where the people from Shibera and maybe pirates and stuff who wanted to have a little more established lifestyle, they've kind of got their own little makeshift government, and they're organized enough to hire mercenaries to fight back the Shaibarans. You know, maybe they stole some magic gems and stuff to get them started, and a group of people escaped from Shibar and actually managed to get out, and they set it up here across from the forest because that forest is pretty dangerous. So armies coming through there would, you know, have to deal with all that, the monsters. I don't know what kind of monsters. Maybe I should roll on my random gen chart, or you guys can let me know in the comments below what kind of monsters live in the forest south of Shibera, you know. Um, so yeah, so basically Port Freeman ends up becoming the staging point for Captain Command Tent. So he travels through across these lands and comes to Port Freeman and convinces them, yo, we can take down Shibera. We're going to team up with the pirates. Maybe he went to the pirates first, you know, and he basically forged these alliances. And actually, Captain Command Tent, I want you to let me know in the comments below. I would love to see a full list of all of your the full mercenary alliances. So I know you have the men of Port Freeman, and that might be one or more groups. But then there's the Black Flag Pirate Alliance, which, you know, loose alliance of pirates or landlubber island, that area, that'll fight for you for money and stuff. Because you got, I don't know, where are you getting your money from? How are you getting to pay these guys? Oh, you made a lot of money in Great Hallion building buildings, and what else did you do? I forget, but you're quite a wealthy mercenary captain, or maybe make you raiding places like raiding Shibar, and I don't know. Anyways, so and then you also have like outsourced some alliances to the from other islands, because I think Shibar Island's got to be one of the islands of the pirate map book. Of course, I'm gonna have to throw it in there when we compile them all together finally. So we got. I haven't talked about the deserts, the southern deserts yet. I mean, you don't really need to know much about Castle Galantis except for that it's the Shibarian kind of outpost city where, just to protect from any of the southern desert areas coming north and attacking that area, or raiding the towns and the farmlands that they own here. And as you can see, Captain Command Tent took New Laika with the mercenary army. So they're starting. That's the front right there, the main battlefront. And so there's going to be a pincer movement, and he's hoping that, I think, if he can ally with the people of Betel Grundi, then he'll have a really good chance of taking down Shibera. I don't know what you guys think. You'll have to let me know. But let's go ahead and look at Princess Blood. I think at this point would be a good time to do that. And yeah, don't forget, Captain Command Tent, I want to see a full list of your alliances. I mean, do you have like specialists, sorcerers? Do you have like Dragonborn knights? You know, like who have you hired to help you in this large scale you know, takedown? All right, so let's watch the replay. So she's from a more deserty environment, as you can see, a like kind of like Egyptian, Arabian kind of feel down there. And so Beit el Grundi means, like, Beit is house, and El Grundi is the Grundi. I don't know what Grundi is in Arabic, if it means anything, but I just thought that was a guy's name. So it's the house of like El Grundi, the Grundi. Like, that's what they call him. And he was like this guy who basically exported from, because they part of. Basically, Beit El Grundi is this huge mansion, and then around it are all these tents and stuff. It's not really like a permanent city. I mean, now it is, but before it was like, that was the only permanent structure, was Beit El Grundi. And that's why people knew they could trade magic stones that he would trade from the oh my gosh, Shibarans, from the Shibarans in the north. So they would get him from the Shibaran elves, and then he would, from Bo means mouth. So Bo Grudi was, you know, just basically the port. They later on, after this, is Grudi is like hundreds of years ago. So he's kind of like a legendary figure of this like gluttonous Arabian type sultan who made a lot of money and built this super lavish palace, and there are all these little like stories and mysteries about the palace and things like that. So so let's go back to the map. Actually, I really like this drawing. I don't know, I like all of them. All of these ones. I was really happy that this was really inspirational, doing this Chub Chub challenge, pushing my artistic limits. So the four winds are basically, so Beit el Grudi became like a more established place, but they always had to go through the four winds to trade to Castle Galantis, because they couldn't go up the left side, the western side. They had to go up this eastern side. It's really only Castle. Actually, there should be a trade route going from Castle Galantis to the Four Winds. The Four Winds was the meeting place. It wasn't really a fully established city. Now it kind of is. But basically, like, the different desert tribes would meet there or would watch that area to make sure that, and then later, when Beit el-Grudi became very rich and there was the caravans going up and down there, they basically would just, that would be the kind of the area where they would raid caravans and tax them or else they would kill them, you know, to get safe passage up there. And then it became its own city. Even though it was like less big than Beit el-Grudi or less rich, it was more aggressive and they couldn't really take them down. Beit el-Grudi's warriors weren't as good as the different nomadic warriors of the desert plains. I don't even know if they're desert people, actually. It's probably plains people. Or scrublands, you know. So anyways, but Princess Blood, man, she came down here and she's kind of shunned. So she believes that the sorcery and magic brings corruption to the hearts of those who wield it. And even though she's a powerful sorceress, she doesn't want to use her powers because she doesn't believe, you know, because of the reason I just explained. So she took up the sword and became a mighty swordswoman. But anyways, either way, and a very inspirational leader apparently, she was able to rally together the different, you know, the people of Beit el-Grudi and the Four Winds, and kind of, she basically was able to pacify the tribes of the Four Winds under the power of Beit el-Grudi. And for once, this whole area has been united under Princess Blood, all right? The Bluden Empire, perhaps, has begun, you know? Now, is she going to use that to attack Shybera, to take it down forcefully? Will she join forces with the Command Tent and do that together? Will she fight the Command Tent to protect her mother's city? Will her mother join Blood, and together they'll stage a civil war against the sorcerers and the dark magic and warlocks of Shybera? And where will the Wood Elves fall into this? Will they uphold their agreement to attack when what's it called? When blah blah blah. When Captain Command Tent attacks Shybera, will they join in on the attack, or will they let him fail and watch and just enjoy the show? You know, what is their true motivation? We don't know, because we don't even know who the leader of the Wood Elves is. So I hope someone left a comment already. Oh no, you should have watched the whole video before you leave a comment. Don't worry, I'll leave a comment in the first second of the video if I feel like it. I don't care. Alright, you guys. Oh, I almost forgot. How could I have almost forgotten? I've got to give myself the honor. Oh man, I'm actually really excited. I feel like I've earned this. You know what I'm saying? I put a lot of, so I'm going into the cybernation. Oh, I have to do this way on the iPad. I just hope I can remember. Server settings. Roles. Oh, no. Members. Where am I? Look at all these roles I have. I don't know why I'm a barbarian paladin. I guess I'll leave it for now, though. Alright, how do I edit roles? No longer am I a CHUBCHUB, but finally, I have a pencil knight! Sorry, Matilda. I'm freaking her out with my excitement. Where am I? I am a pencil knight! I have to swipe down on this thing every time. Look at that. Oh, glorious, bronzy, golden glory. All right, that's it, you guys. I hope you enjoyed my the recollection of my travels and the history of Cyber Island. And if you want to join the Cybernation, let me know in the comments below. And you too could become a CHUBCHUB, and you can take the CHUBCHUB challenge. Just ask about it when you get in there. You're going to have to draw 3 pages of expressive skulls. You find out all about that with using the fantastic anatomy method. But anyways, thanks for joining me for this monumentous occasion. And until next time, peace, God bless, and stay fantastic, everyone.